In January of 1960, a remarkable event unfolded in Las Vegas that would forever change the landscape of entertainment. Three legends of the stage, Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr., and Dean Martin, shared the spotlight with Joey Bishop, creating a spectacle audiences would never forget. But what made this night so extraordinary was not just the presence of these icons, but the glimpse it offered into their private lives. For the first time, the veil was lifted on Hollywood's glamour, exposing the raw, unvarnished reality of the Rat Pack's camaraderie and excess. Las Vegas, a city known for its dazzling lights and nightlife, became the backdrop for a show that was as much about the performers as it was about themselves. It was a time when the rules were bent and the boundaries between work and personal life blurred. These entertainers, known for their sharp wit and charisma, took the stage to perform, but they also took their masks off, revealing the real them, drinking, smoking, and talking candidly about their lives, from their relationships to their politics. This was more than just entertainment. It was a window into the lives of men who were shaping popular culture. The Rat Pack was not just a group of friends, they were a phenomenon. Their show at the Sands Hotel was a once-in-a-lifetime experience, a moment when the magic of Hollywood collided with the raw energy of Las Vegas. It was as if the audience had been invited into the private clubhouse of the most powerful men in show business. The Sands, with its opulent decor and vibrant atmosphere, became their domain. The steam room in the clubhouse was their sanctuary, a place where they relaxed and socialized before their nightly performances. Each had his own robe, emblazoned with his nickname leader for Sinatra, Dago for Martin, and Smokey for Sammy. It was here, in this private world, that they felt most themselves, away from the pressures of fame and the expectations of their fans. But their influence extended far beyond the casino's walls. The Rat Pack became synonymous with a new era of American culture, one that was more relaxed and rebellious compared to the strict norms of the 1950s. Their humor, their fashion, and their attitudes captured the imagination of a generation eager to break free from the conventions of the past. Their impact on politics was equally significant. John F. Kennedy, the charismatic senator from Massachusetts, was a frequent visitor to the Sands. Sinatra, a close friend and supporter, introduced him to the crowd during a dinner show in 1960. Kennedy's connection to the Rat Pack was more than just a matter of celebrity endorsements. It symbolized a shift in American politics, where the old guard was giving way to a new, more dynamic force. The Rat Pack's legacy extends beyond their performances and political connections. They paved the way for a more candid and relatable form of entertainment, one that would influence generations of comedians, actors, and musicians. Their willingness to be themselves, flaws and all, offered a refreshing change from the polished, perfect images that had dominated Hollywood for so long. As the lights of Las Vegas continued to shine, the Rat Pack's influence lingered. Their show at the Sands, though just one night, became a defining moment in entertainment history. It was a night when the impossible seemed possible, when the boundaries between star and fan, public and private, were temporarily dissolved. And in that moment, the magic of Hollywood and the allure of Las Vegas became one, creating a memory that would last forever. Frank Sinatra had a special way of handling people in his life, especially those in the entertainment world. Jack Entratter was Sinatra's boss at the Sands Casino. Entratter was someone who could calm Sinatra down when he got angry. Sinatra would do wild things like throwing a bottle of booze in Entratter's face, but Entratter knew how to keep his temper in check. This was important because Sinatra had a short temper himself. Another star at the Sands was Dean Martin. Unlike Sinatra, Dean was easygoing and friendly. He got along well with everyone, from other stars to fans and even women. Dean was different from Sinatra in many ways. While Sinatra liked to party late into the night, Dean needed his sleep so he could play golf early in the morning. Even though Dean was a big draw for the casino, he valued his personal time. His private life was complex. He had many children from different marriages, but even they didn't fully understand him because he wasn't good at talking about his feelings. Sammy Davis Jr. was another close friend of Sinatra's. Sammy was always social, attending parties and screenings with friends until late at night. His lifestyle was quite different from the norms of the black community, which sometimes caused controversy. Sammy's close friendship with Sinatra was also a topic of discussion, with some people finding it unusual given their different backgrounds. Many people wanted to be friends with Frank Sinatra. His circle included a mix of fellow performers, business partners, and famous songwriters. He also had a lot of romantic relationships, though some were short-lived. In Las Vegas, anyone who was anyone in show business wanted to be seen with Sinatra. He had the power to boost the careers of those he favored. One such person was Don Rickles, a comedian known for his sharp wit. Sinatra discovered Rickles in Miami and brought him to the Sahara Hotel. Rickles became famous for his quick insults, which entertained everyone, including Sinatra, who would often join in the fun. During the early 1960s, the Rat Pack, led by Sinatra, became very popular. They were known for performing classic songs by composers like Cole Porter and Richard Rodgers. This was important because these songs were part of the traditional repertoire for many singers. At the same time, a new kind of music called rock and roll was becoming very popular, especially with younger audiences. This music was very different from the smooth sounds of the Rat Pack. Sinatra disliked rock and roll. He found it rough and unpleasant, especially compared to the music he was used to. In an article, he called rock and roll the most brutal, ugly, degenerate, vicious form of expression, and said it was bad for young people. This view was controversial, especially since one of rock and roll's biggest stars, Elvis Presley, was about to return from the army and become a national sensation. Ironically, Sinatra, who had once criticized Elvis's music, would later host his first major TV appearance after Elvis's return. This shows how complex and sometimes contradictory the relationships and opinions within the entertainment world can be. In the world of music and entertainment, the 1950s were a time of big changes. Frank Sinatra, a famous singer, tried many ways to be on TV but couldn't quite make it work. TV was becoming very popular, but Sinatra struggled to connect with the viewers. This changed when he made a special show with Elvis Presley in 1960. This show was special because it brought together two very different worlds of music, the older, smooth sound of Sinatra and the new, energetic sound of Elvis. The show was recorded in Miami and had Sinatra's friends from the Rat Pack, like Sammy Davis Jr., Joey Bishop, and even Sinatra's daughter Nancy. It was a chance for Sinatra to show off his friends and remind everyone who was still in charge. The show featured music from both artists and even a funny moment where Sinatra and Elvis did a duet, showing that even stars can have fun together. This show was a big hit, attracting a huge audience and becoming the best-rated show Sinatra had ever done. It showed that Elvis still had a huge following, even after being away for 2 years in the army. However, after this show, Sinatra and Elvis didn't really stay close friends. They had their own groups of friends, but they did share a love for Las Vegas and partying. After returning from the army, Elvis became known as part of a group called the Memphis Mafia. This group was like a team of friends who loved to party in Las Vegas. They would go to different shows, meet lots of women, and have a wild time. Elvis was known for his energetic performances and his love of rock and roll music. However, after his time in the army, his performances and music started to change. They became less exciting, and people began to lose interest. Elvis wasn't the only star from the early rock and roll days who faced trouble. Many of his friends, like Chuck Berry and Buddy Holly, had their own problems. Chuck Berry went to prison and Buddy Holly sadly died in a plane crash. This left a big gap in the music world. New singers emerged, but they were very different. They were clean-cut and mostly white, unlike the original rock and roll stars who were more rebellious and diverse. As the 1960s began, Sinatra and his friends from the Rat Pack also faced challenges. After a night of partying at a club, they went to hear Eddie Fisher perform. Instead of being supportive, Sinatra and Dean Martin started making fun of Fisher, which was not nice. This behavior caused a lot of trouble and bad reviews. It marked a turning point, showing that the carefree days of the Rat Pack were coming to an end. Around this time, the club where they caused trouble, the Coconut Grove, started to change. The people running the club began to favor newer, more wholesome acts. These new singers were very different from the original rock and roll stars. They were clean, friendly, and more suited to the changing times. In the end, the 1960s saw a shift in the music scene. The original rock and roll stars like Sinatra and Elvis faced new competition and personal challenges. Their style gave way to a new generation of singers who brought a different kind of music to the forefront. This change marked the end of an era, showing how quickly the world of entertainment can evolve.